Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be checking out when MicroStrategy will be added into the S&P 500. Like and subscribe for more content. Aaron from Bitcoin Bros here. We have new Bitcoin, crypto, MicroStrategy videos coming out every single day. Going to be getting into some MicroStrategy updates, Bitcoin updates in today's video. Make sure to stay tuned all the way to the end, and also have a clip, very bullish clip at the end I want to share with you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into it here today. So we know that MicroStrategy is going to be added into the NASDAQ 100. It actually is officially added into the NASDAQ 100 today. They're going to get $2.1 billion of an additional allocation for being a new member, a new addition to the S&P 500. Really good to see there. But we don't have the rebalancing, as you can see right here, until December 20th. So next Friday is when those purchases will probably happen. So that's a date to be watching out for. And we could definitely see MicroStrategy's price increase because of that. I've seen some estimates around the internet, and some people think we're going to get around a 10 to 15% move to the upside based on how much money is being allocated to MicroStrategy. And then I want to talk about when MicroStrategy will be added into the S&P 500. Shout out to Richard Haas here. Give him a follow over on Twitter. He had a great thread about this, and just going to go through it here. So with FASB accounting, we know that the income statement, the way that the Bitcoin is viewed on the balance sheet, is going to be reported a little bit differently. So under the new rules, only Bitcoin gains or losses occurred during the quarter being reported will be recognized in net income. An entity is required to substantially measure Bitcoin at fair value with changes recognized in net income each quarter period. This means MicroStrategy's Q1 2025 earnings will reflect Bitcoin's price movements between December 31st, 2024 and March 35th, 2025, but not prior gains or losses. So there was kind of this misconception that all of MicroStrategy's gains over the past couple of years will be shown in that quarter one earnings call when MicroStrategy finally adopts the FASB accounting standard. So you can see here, this is an estimate of what could happen for MicroStrategy in quarter one. So we can assume here Q4 closes December 31st, 2024, BTC treasury of 423,650, acquired at around $60,000, Bitcoin's price is around 100K. And then Q1 2025, Bitcoin purchases MicroStrategy buys 126,000 at an average cost of 118,000. Q1 2025 close. So now the Bitcoin treasury has around 550,000 BTC acquired at around $73,000 average cost, and the Bitcoin price is 140,000. So the cumulative effect adjusted at December 31st, 2024 will just retain earnings for Bitcoin growth up to that point as retained earnings. Net income in Q1 2025 will only reflect the Bitcoin growth relative to new coins and price change from December 31st to March 31st. So we're only going to see the price change from the Bitcoin that they acquired in that quarter show up on the income statement for net income. So now we know that the Bitcoin that is purchased in the quarter is going to be the only thing that shows up as net income. So we're not going to see any previous Bitcoin in the past show up on net income for that quarter, any given quarter for MicroStrategy. And then this gets really interesting. To qualify for the S&P 500, MicroStrategy needs 4 consecutive quarters, so around an entire year, summing positive earnings. So key thresholds that we need to watch out for are these quarterly opens and closes. You can see he talks about December 31st, March 31st, 2025. And we need to understand if MicroStrategy has been profitable in that quarter, because we need 4 quarters of positive growth for it to be added into the S&P 500. So that changes a lot of things around, because if we have a Bitcoin that is 140,000 at the quarter open, and at the quarter end it goes down to 130,000, MicroStrategy is going to show a net loss for that quarter. So there may be some implications here on MicroStrategy getting added into the S&P 500. So there's been a lot of speculation on the S&P inclusion. A lot of people have been expecting that to come next year, but as you can see with this post, we may not see MicroStrategy get added into the S&P next year, especially if Bitcoin is going to be very volatile. We don't know what it's going to do quarter to quarter, but we do know over the long term, Bitcoin will most likely remain bullish. That's not financial advice. And it's not as simple as just looking at the top U.S. market cap companies, and MicroStrategy actually is sitting at 97. What's really interesting here is we could see MicroStrategy continue to climb this list, but because of how the S&P treats their inclusion, we could see MicroStrategy be a top 10 U.S. market cap company and not be in the S&P 500. That is something that could definitely happen in the future because we know Bitcoin is volatile, and having 4 quarters in a row of showing net income being profitable for MicroStrategy may not be something that happens, but MicroStrategy doesn't need that to continue to be a valuable company. But outside of that, I want to get into some Bitcoin news here. We have the ETFs buying 5,900 Bitcoin yesterday on Thursday. Obviously, we know there's only 450 Bitcoin mined per day, so that is just an astronomical number. And to put that in perspective, over the past week or so, we've seen massive inflows from the Bitcoin ETFs. Millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars flowing into the ETFs to buy more BTCs. There's been a lot of buy pressure on Bitcoin here as of late with the ETFs, with everything Saylor has been doing, with all these other companies buying Bitcoin. It's just great to see. So interesting to see all this buying pressure from Bitcoin. And yesterday was huge, almost $600 million there. And now we have 2 states, Texas and Pennsylvania, looking to adopt their own strategic Bitcoin reserve. There's legislation that they're trying to get through so these states can have their own Bitcoin on their balance sheet. The Bitcoin adoption wave isn't coming, and it's just getting started. We're seeing it with the states. We're seeing it with other countries here. We're seeing it with the United States. And you can see right here, a Japanese politician questions their government about Bitcoin reserve movements in the U.S. and other countries. So now we have Japan potentially looking into putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And I thought it was really interesting. This person who submitted this, their first name is actually Satoshi. So we may be watching Japan put Bitcoin on the balance sheet very soon as well. And BlackRock officially recommends a 2% allocation to Bitcoin. Putting that in perspective, we know there are $900 trillion in assets in the world. You put a 2% weighting to Bitcoin, that gives BTC a market cap of $18 trillion. That'd be just above gold or right with gold. And that would put Bitcoin almost at $1 million per coin. So that's where BlackRock thinks Bitcoin will be fairly valued at. And then here's a clip from somebody who is an asset manager. They have over 100 million assets under management. And I just want you to check this clip out here. Leave all your thoughts about today's video in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for more content like this. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. Let's go ahead and check out this clip here.
Take on Trump's victory. And now let's find out what wealthy investors think with Barbara Goodstein, managing partner at R360, an ultra-wealthy community for centimillionaires. Barbara, good morning. Great to have you here. So last time you were here, you wore red. You said it was by accident. This time you said it was on purpose. So is that a sign of what these centimillionaires think about this election?
Well, that is a sign that Trump won the election, and we think that there is a lot of big news coming. We had our market opportunities and risks meeting last week, and there's a lot of upside from this win.
All right, so these investors are excited about the win and obviously what it means going forward. One thing you say they're excited about is Bitcoin. So I mentioned to one of our earlier guests that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, it now has more assets under management than their gold ETF. Of course, we know gold is a safe haven. I know a lot of your investors, they hold gold as well. What's their sentiment when it comes to Bitcoin? And are they doing it directly or through ETF?
We're very high on Bitcoin, and we've been talking about Bitcoin for the past few years. We recommend doing it directly because you don't pay taxes if you're doing it directly, so that's a big difference. But we think that Bitcoin could become the next strategic reserve asset. So the country now holds 232,000 Bitcoin. We think that Trump could bump that up to over 1 million.